there, this is Parth Sharma bringing you the best chess games going all around the world. Do take time to like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to support me at Patreon and PayPal because your support is my motivation which keeps me going. I'm gonna bring you the game between Dominguez Perez and Levon Aronian from FIDE.chess.com Online Nations Cup taking place at chess.com. Well, Aronian was looking at the good form after downing Vidit in somewhat complicated game where Vidit missed his chances, but let's see Levon Aronian this time with black pieces and Perez with white. So let's have a go. E4, E5, Knight F3, Knight F6, a Petrov defense from Aronian. Well, from his repertoire, as I've seen throughout his chess career, he tends to play the Marshall Gambit the most, and it's sort of opening that he trusts himself. But here he is playing Knight F6, Knight takes, D6, tucking that knight, and only then recapturing. D4, D5, Bishop D3, Bishop D6, some normal stuff going on, both sides developing their king side pieces, and C4. Well, C4 was a very timely move. Most often we see when the C4 is played, there is move Knight B4 which attacks this bishop and the bishop tucks back, but since there is no Knight C6, there is no Knight B4, so this gives time to white to attack center and undermine this knight's protection from the pawn. But this can be combated easily. C6, and here Perez could have played rook E1 in this position, but things weren't so bad after queen C2. H6, the obvious move, giving king some room, and not to forget this battery down on this H7 diagonal, and in many cases this pawn drops, so H6 is also playing good role. Rook E1 now, Bishop E6 putting more protection, so intention would be to take it with the bishop, also taking with this pawn, not instantly with the bishop because then this knight would drop, so taking with the pawn would be ideal. Pawn takes and pawn takes, bishop takes, and Perez gains a pawn, but Aronian has compensation for that. He has two bishops. The two bishops are looking at these diagonals, very dangerous indeed, and once this knight comes out, this rook comes here, it would be very good compensation for the pawn, and not to forget this bishop is asking question to the queen, so if queen moves then knight c6 will happen, but at the moment not so significant. Queen g4 played, and now offering the exchange of queens, which was gleefully accepted. Bishop takes knight. Now this is a very crucial move, because what this does is to ruin these pawn structures, doubling on the f file, and these pawns here will be isolated, and so is this pawn. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 pawn islands for white, which won't be ideal in this position, in fact in any position for that matter. Pawn takes. Now white has 4 pawn islands, 1, 2, 3, 4, whereas black has only 2 pawn islands, which means his pawns are relatively safe, and ruining this pawn structure, and this pawn sitting isolated here with this bishop blockading this pawn successfully. I think black has more than the compensation for the pawn. Bishop b4, bishop d2, rook fd8, now directly challenging this pawn, indirectly challenging this pawn. Once the knight moves, then this pawn will be under threat. And in this position, I thought that Perez should have kept his bishop in this position. That would have been key in this position. Let's say going for a3, bishop f8, rook c1, knight b6, knight e2, defending the pawn, and this position could have been playable. Instead, he goes for knight e4. Bishops were exchanged, and now knight f6, knight b3 defends the pawn, d4, b6, rook c1, knight stopping the rook infiltrating on c7, and also stopping this rook coming here. a3, rook d6. So basic idea is to put both these rooks here and piling up more pressure on this square. Might see this knight also attacking this pawn. King f1, to bringing the king into the center. a5, that's a good move. a4, stopping the pawn. The a5 was played to play a4 to tuck this knight off. g5, giving his king this route to possibly harass this rook. Rook c4, well, I don't like this move because these rooks look very ugly in the center of the board. Ideal placement of these rooks would have been here, or two rooks in these files would have been better. But defending like this isn't a good option. Let's see how it pans out. King g7, rook e1, and simplest move would have been to play knight f4, which was an accuracy from Aronian's point of view. Knight f4 with the intention of to play knight e6, putting more pressure, and then try to bring the king to attack this pawn. But he goes king g6 in this position. Well, knight d2, knight c1 would have been better, with putting the knight here. Knight b4, knight b3, knight d3, now attacking this rook. So rook comes up, knight f4 again. Aronian was playing quite quickly in this position, and Perez was struggling with time, which we have seen in these rapid games. So rook comes back. This is an ugly move to make, basically. Rook f6, knight d2, knight comes back to d3 again, rook b1 defending this pawn, rook f4, now this rook is attacking from here. So rook c6 check, king g7, rook takes b6, and now rook d takes d4. So he gives his center pawn, but his pawn structure again isn't looking trustworthy. That it's not convincing how he'll be able to handle this position. b3, could have played b4 with the intention of exchanging everything and create his own passed pawn. That's also lost. Now knight takes f2. Good move. If king takes, then rook takes knight. Easy move to miss. King here. And now rook h4. Once again, if king takes, then rook takes, picking up the knight. Knight f1 defends the pawn. Knight e3. Rook b5. Knight f4 check. King f2. Rook d3. And now rook e5. He could have taken the pawn, but I think he was more worried with many pieces aren't around his own king, and these two rooks looks very active, and they can be very threatening at the king side of the board. Let's see. Big chance missed. Gives Aronian some opportunity to gain his ground. Rook c3 played. Rook takes pawn. A move late I should say. Rook h3, now piling more pressure on this pawn, and rook b5. Just a horrible blunder in this position. I think he could have tried rook e5 in this position. Let's have a look at rook h takes, king g1, knight h3, checking h1, and still this position looks completely lost, but still would have given some chance. But rook b5 loses immediately. Rook h takes f3, king g1, rook c2, now pushing this king to the corner so that through this rook this king cannot come up the board, and more threats are coming now. Again chance to play rook e5, but no, under time pressure things can turn very ugly. Rook b6, rook ff2. Now this is looking very dangerous indeed, and with a5 it's all gone. Cannot avoid the checkmate now. Let's see how Aronian finishes off. Knight h3. Here Perez resigned the game. The mate is unavoidable. You will try to bring pieces in the middle, but that won't work. If this knight moves, then this is mate, and if this knight doesn't move, then this is mate. This is hopeless position. Totally gone. What a fantastic victory from Aronian in this game. Ooh. So Aronian was the man of the match today. He won both his games quite comprehensively. He beat Vidit with a superb technique, and also not to forget, Vidit missed his opportunity to win the game, but no faults to Aronian. He took his chances. Vidit didn't, and Vidit paid for it. And here also he was given a sniff. He just built up more pressure on Perez, who was consuming a lot of time, and just bounced on that pressure. He was playing so quickly, Aronian, and I think he found his groove after that Artemiev thrashing, or I should say a surprise attack from Artemiev where he played rook d5. So he found his groove today and he looked in his element. Well, that's it for today. I hope you liked this video, and thanks for watching. Cheers, bye, have a nice day, tada.